All right, let's talk a little bit more about clipping, and then we're going to just be dealing with the signal coming out of the RCAs on this video. All right, so the RCAs right now, they are full range, okay? As you can see, I don't have, the amplifier's not hooked up. I mean, it is hooked up, power and ground, everything, but we're not using the amplifier. I'm only dealing with the RCA signal. So, you know, of course, I've got my adapter so I can connect my probe to the positive and the negative to the oscilloscope, from the oscilloscope to the RCA. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show you 40 hertz and then 1000 hertz on this particular deck. Now I've had this deck for a long time. You can see residue around here where I used to have to duct tape my flash drive to the deck, to the head unit, because the bass was so loud it would actually make the flash drive jump out. And then I got to the point where I had a cable, one of the extension cables, and I had to tape the cable to the deck because it was so loud. And then that's when I started going to handheld units, handheld head units during competitions. Now right here you can see, all right, so this is the switch where I turn the head unit off and on. And then this is the switch right here where I turn the remote lead off and on, which is this this wire here. And then I've got right here a switch for the deck power, to turn the deck power off and on. So right now that's 40 hertz. I've got some house speakers. Actually, I've only got one hooked up because we're going to test the output of deck power with this lead. That's the left channel. But I have that switch there because, you know, when you're testing some things, it's loud. That was 1 kilotone, 1 kilohertz tone, 1000 hertz. All right, so back to our testing. Let's set it up here. That's 1000 hertz on the screen. So right there's 40 hertz, 5-minute track. It's off the DD1 CD. The Tony DeMoore, Steve Mead, DD1. They are clean tracks. So right now we're dealing with the 0 dB tracks. That way we can get the most signal coming out of the RCAs. So right now I'm on volume 50. All right, so right here, volume 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. There's volume 60 at 40 hertz, 0 dB. And you can see that right here, bottom left, frequency is 40 hertz. Now I'm just going to go up one more click, volume 61. And this deck maxes out at volume 62. So here we go, volume 62. Bam, there's your clipping. There's the clipping point. Volume 61, volume 62, and that is at 40 hertz. Now, right now, let's, I'm going to just go to the audio section, show you what we have here, the balance. Well, the balance is 0. Preset EQ is flat. All right, the graphic EQ, you can scroll through and set each one, but you can see over here, everything is set to 0. Level meter, that's just a display. It's off. It's just a display, a visual aid. Loudness, always turn that shit off. That is a bullshit. So they should just take it out of the deck altogether. Off. High pass frequency, that's your high pass crossover. High pass meaning high frequencies pass through. Low frequencies do not. Bass boost, turn that shit off. You don't need that. SLA, source level adjustment. It's on 0. All right, so that's all the settings. It's all the settings. So right now we're at volume 61. It's clean. Volume 62. It's clipped, and that's the maximum volume. It does not go up any further than volume 62. Well, volume 62. All right, so now we're going to turn it back down a little bit. Now we're going to go to track 2, which is 1000 hertz or 1 kilohertz at 0 dB. And as you can see, the time alignment is all scrunched together. All the waves are scrunched together. So now I'm just going to adjust the time alignment. That way we can see it in the screen. Just like the 40 hertz, but now in the bottom left-hand corner, right here, the frequency is 1.00 kilohertz. That is 1000 hertz. I'm going to do the same thing. Just go up on the volume. It says volume 60, volume 61, still clean, volume 62. All right, volume 61, volume 62. That is at 1000 hertz at 0 dB. Now, if I were to switch that to -5 dB, it would be clean. Now watch this. Track 4 is -5. And all the way up, it's clean because it's 5 decibels lower. Now, people saying that, oh, the PRS, whatever, blah, 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 is clean all the way to 62. Well, yeah, at a -5 dB track, it is. I mean, there it is, volume 62, -5. But you switch that thing back to 0 dB track at volume 62, and guess what? It's going to clip because you're overdriving the signal. Now, if you send that signal to the amplifier, and I'll get to that in a later video. I will show you at low volumes. If you have a clipped signal going into the amplifier, then plain and simple, the amplifier, the only thing it does is amplify the signal going into the amplifier. And if you got a clipped signal going in, you automatically have a clipped signal coming out. And I will demonstrate that on a later video. But right now, I just want to show you the signal coming in, just the RCA signal. That's just the RCA signal. So, this is kind of what you need to do to find your maximum clean volume. And this is at a 0 dB recording, which is going to be like some of your newer recordings. The today's music kind of deal. Back in the 90s, they were recorded at a very, very, very low rate. So what that looks like is, and this is why Steve Meade, and I agree with him 100%, he says, all right, so here's volume 62. It's clipped. Look at the waveform at volume 62, 1000 hertz. Now, I always use track 4, which is the -5 dB for 1000 hertz to set the highs track, your highs amps. Clean. Now, if I go to let's go back to track 1. It's 40 hertz, and you can see it's like all over the place. So let's get the time alignment correct. So now there's your clipping volume, because we're at volume 62 at 0 dB. Right? Here's volume 61, volume 62. Now let's just go. I always use track 5. at a negative 10 dB rate. That way I can turn my amplifier up more. Now look, there's -5. I turn my amplifier up more so I can get more bass out of my 90s recorded music because it's recorded at a very, very, very low rate, a low volume level. And then when I'm playing newer music, which is recorded at a higher level, if I have the volume, if I have it at the same level, then it's going to clip like hell because it's recorded at a higher level. So that's where our bass knob comes into play. We turn the bass knob down, or we can turn the volume down. So if I one click down, bam, I'm clean. It has nothing to do with amplifier settings at this point. It has to do with human control over the volume or a bass knob. You know, if we're talking about bass, your sub amplifiers. So, you know, that just, you know, I just want to, you know, point that out. You know, there's your -5 dB, I mean, your -10 dB track. That's track 5 at 40 hertz. And here's track 3. That's at -5 dB. And here's track 1 at 0 dB. Now that was volume 61. Here's volume 62, track 1. Track 3, that's -5 dB. And track 5, which is -10 dB. So you've got, so let's look here, the volts RMS right here. Let's go back to track 1. And let's make it clean. That's volume 61 at 40 hertz. Right there, 2.07 volts RMS. Let's go track 3. That's -5 dB. That's 1.17 volts RMS. Now let's go to track 5. Less than a volt. That's 660 millivolts. So that's 0.66 volts RMS on the RCA level. And that's a big difference. That is a huge difference. So, and I will say, I never go by the voltage going into the amplifier. The RCA voltage going into the amplifier really means nothing. It means nothing. When you have an oscilloscope, it shows you, it really shows you what the amplifier is doing, you know, with the signal coming in versus the signal coming out. It will show you exactly what the amplifier is doing. If you have the oscilloscope connected to the outputs of the amplifier, it will show you what the amplifier is doing. You don't need to worry yourself about how many volts is going into the amplifier. What you need to concern yourself with is, do I have a clean signal coming out of going into the amplifier, and then do I have a clean signal coming out of the amplifier? So I'm going to end this video with that, and then we'll do another video real quick and talk a little bit more about clipping and how to set your amplifier gains and whatnot in future videos. All right, let me know what you think in the comments. Give me some feedback, give me some comments. Let me know what you think, and that's it for this one.